NHL Great Goal Moments. Ladies and gentlemen, in NHL history, there have been a ton of memorable goal moments. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and get ready for some jaw-dropping moments from the world of NHL. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the most memorable NHL goal moments. 1. In Game 4 of the 1970 Stanley Cup Finals, Bobby Orr's flying goal gave the Boston Bruins their first championship in 29 years. Orr dove through the air after receiving a pass from teammate Derek Sanderson to score the game-winning goal. 2. In Game 2 of the 1991 Stanley Cup Finals against the Minnesota North Stars, Mario Lemieux ducked the goalkeeper and danced through the hole. Defense to score what is forever remembered as the goal. 3. Wayne Gretzky's 50-39 during the 1981-82 season is still regarded as one of the greatest individual achievements in hockey. Gretzky became the first player in NHL history to score 50 goals in 39 games. 4. In a game against the University of Minnesota in the 1996 NCAA tournament, Mike Legg scored what is now referred to as the Michigan goal by lifting the puck from behind the net and into the upper corner of the net. 5. In the gold medal game versus the United States in overtime at the 2010 Winter Olympics, Sidney Crosby scored the game-winning goal for Canada, giving them their 8th hockey Olympic gold medal overall. 6. Alexander Ovechkin's The Goal in 2006. Ovechkin scored a highlight reel goal against the Phoenix Coyotes by slicing past the Phoenix Coyotes' defense and scoring while falling to the ice. 7. In Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 1980, Bobby Nystrom scored the game-winning goal in overtime to give the New York Islanders their first-ever Stanley Cup victory. 8. Joe Sakic's Forsbergen goal from the 1996 World Cup of Hockey. Sakic scored an amazing goal against Canada that resembled the well-known Peter Forsberg goal from the 1994 Olympics. 9. In Game 1 of the 1992 playoffs against the Boston Bruins, Alexei Kovalev scored a goal while performing a spin maneuver that came to be known as the spin-o-rama. 10. Paul Henderson's Summit Series goal from 1972. With only 34 seconds remaining in the 8th and final game of the Summit Series between Canada and the Soviet Union, Henderson scored the game-winning goal to give Canada the series victory. 11. Ray Bourque's first Stanley Cup winning goal came in 2001 when the Colorado Avalanche defeated the New Jersey Devils in Game 3 of the Finals, giving Bourque his first championship after 22 seasons in the NHL. 12. Patrick Kane scored the game-winning goal for the Chicago Blackhawks in the overtime period of Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals against the Philadelphia Flyers in 2010. This goal gave the Blackhawks their first championship in nearly half a century. 13. Jari Kurri scored the game-winning goal for the Edmonton Oilers in the 5th and deciding game of the Stanley Cup Finals against the New York Islanders. This victory was the Oilers' first ever in the Stanley Cup tournament. 14. In the Game 6 of the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals, Martin St. Louis scored the game-winning goal against the Calgary Flames in double overtime. This forced a decisive Game 7, which the Tampa Bay Lightning won. 15. Patrick Roy's 1993 empty net goal against the Los Angeles Kings in Game 6 of the Finals made him the first goaltender in NHL history to score a game-winning goal in the playoffs. 16. Goal that earned Jaromir Jagr the Jagr Salute in 1992. Jagr beat the Chicago Blackhawks in a highlight reel goal that was finished with the Jagr Salute. 17. 2019's lacrosse goal by Alexander Radulov. In a game against the Minnesota Wild, Radulov became the first player in NHL history to score a goal by lifting the puck onto his stick and into the goal. 18. In double overtime against the St. Louis Blues in 1996, Steve Yzerman scored the game-winning goal to advance the Detroit Red Wings to the conference finals. 19. Chris Drury's Miracle on Manchester goal from 1982. In Game 3 of the playoffs against the Edmonton Oilers, the Los Angeles Kings overcame a 5-0 deficit to force overtime when Drury scored the game-winning goal. 20. Bobby Clarke's Stanley Cup winning goal in 1975. In Game 6 of the Finals against the Buffalo Sabres, Clarke scored the game-winning goal to give the Philadelphia Flyers their first ever Stanley Cup. 21. In a game against the Calgary Flames in 1994, Pavel Bure scored a goal that became known as the Russian Rocket. This goal was a highlight reel goal that saw Bure racing past the defenders and into the net on a breakaway. It was one of the most memorable goals of his career that he scored on a breakaway during the playoffs in 1994. During their game against the Dallas Stars, Bure got the goal that will live long in the memory by racing down the ice and deceiving the goaltender. 22. The Toronto Maple Leafs won their first playoff series in the past 15 years thanks to a game-winning goal scored by John Tavares during the 2019 postseason. The goal came in overtime against the Washington Capitals. 23. Pat LaFontaine's Easter epic goal in 1987 propelled the New York Islanders to victory in one of the longest games in the history of the National Hockey League. In the game against the Washington Capitals, LaFontaine scored the game-winning goal in the fourth round of overtime. 24. Mario Lemieux's performance against the Philadelphia Flyers in 1988 included a goal that he scored while falling to the ice after breaking free from two defenders. This goal was part of Lemieux's 5-goal effort. 25. Joe Sakic was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy for being the most valuable player in the playoffs after he scored the game-winning goal in Game 7 of the 2001 Stanley Cup Finals against the New Jersey Devils. 26. The Dallas Stars won their first-ever Stanley Cup thanks to a goal scored by Mike Modano in overtime against the Buffalo Sabres in 1999. The game was played in overtime. 27. In the playoffs in 1984, when the Calgary Flames were Wayne Gretzky's opponent, he scored a goal known as Beyond the Net. This goal was a highlight reel strike. Gretzky skated around the back of the net and slipped the puck in through the open door on the opposite side. 28. Martin Delina's appeared to have scored the game-winning goal for the Calgary Flames in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2004. But the goal was controversially disallowed. The game was played against the Lightning. Following that, the Lightning were victorious in both the game and the Cup. 29. The Rocket goal scored by Maurice Richard in 1952 came about in the course of a playoff match against the Boston Bruins. Richard rushed down the rink and scored a goal despite having to avoid his two competitors. The goal represented a pivotal moment in Richard's professional life. 30. The one-timer that Joe Sakic performed in the Winter Olympics in 2002. In the gold medal game against the United States, Sakic scored the game-winning goal by blasting a one-timer past the American goalie. This goal gave Canada its first Olympic gold medal in men's hockey in 50 years. 31. Chris Kunitz scored the game-winning goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins in double overtime in the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals game against the Ottawa Senators. This goal advanced the Pittsburgh Penguins to the championship game against the Senators. 32. The toe goal scored by Brett Hull during the 1999 Stanley Cup Finals. When Brett Hull scored what many consider to be a controversial game-winning goal in triple overtime against the Buffalo Sabres, several people suggested that Hull's skate was already in the crease at the time. The goal was upheld, and as a result, the Dallas Stars were awarded the cup. 33. During the 2013 postseason, one of the highlights included Patrice Bergeron scoring the game-tying goal in Game 7 of the conference quarterfinals against the Toronto Maple Leafs. This score sparked a comeback from a 3-goal deficit and ultimately contributed to the victory of the Boston Bruins. 34. Bobby Orr, who was playing with a broken ankle, but still managed to score the game-winning goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs in overtime of Game 6 of the 1964 Stanley Cup Finals, is famously quoted as saying, "I'm not missing this game," after receiving an injection to alleviate the excruciating pain he was experiencing. 35. Jari Kurri's hat trick in Game 2 of the 1985 Stanley Cup Finals. Jari Kurri helped the Edmonton Oilers win their second championship in a row by scoring 3 goals in a single game against the Philadelphia Flyers, including the game-winning goal in overtime. This enabled the Oilers to defeat the Flyers and win the Stanley Cup. 36. During the Olympic Winter Games in 2002, Igor Larionov scored a 5-hole goal. Larionov's goal in the gold medal game against the United States was the game winner, and Russia won its first men's hockey Olympic gold medal as a result. Larionov scored the game-winning goal by sliding the puck between the legs of the American goalie. 37. The Toronto Maple Leafs advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1993 thanks to a goal scored by Doug Gilmour in the first game of the conference finals against the Los Angeles Kings. This goal gave the Maple Leafs the victory and sparked their run to the championship series. 38. The Toronto Maple Leafs won their first playoff series in 17 years when John Tavares scored the game-winning goal in overtime of Game 6 of the 2021 playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens. This victory gave the Toronto Maple Leafs their first playoff victory overall. 39. Mike Bossy's 50 goals in 50 games in 1981. Bossy became only the second player in the history of the NHL to score 50 goals in their first 50 games, where he accomplished this feat by scoring a hat trick against the Quebec Nordiques. 40. The Vegas Golden Knights overcame a 2-0 series disadvantage thanks to a goal scored by Max Pacioretty in overtime in Game 4 of the 2021 playoffs. As a result, the Vegas Golden Knights advanced all the way to the conference finals. During the overtime period, Pacioretty scored the goal that proved to be the game-winning one for the Vegas Golden Knights matchup against the Colorado Avalanche. 41. Teemu Selanne surpassed Mike Bossy's record for most goals scored in a single season by a rookie with his 54th goal of the year, establishing his position as one of the most accomplished rookies in the history of the National Hockey League. This video included a number of the most famous goals ever scored in the NHL. Hope you enjoyed those parts of the show. Your feedback is very appreciated, so leave a comment in the area below. In addition, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for being with us.